leather seat for the rest of her term. What a historic call. John Roberts, be sure to follow our social media accounts for all things America Reports. The story starts right now.
Yeah, thank you very much, you guys. What a moment, and certainly one none of us expected to see happen this week. Good afternoon, everybody. There's Senator Charles Grassley and Graham Nardone, the new senator, who has taken her brother Lindsey Graham's spot as the senator from South Carolina. And it is really a moving set of days around this shocking news of the death of Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, now replaced at least temporarily by his sister, Darlene.
Good afternoon. I'm just working on my little miniature log cabin. You here, this is our leave-in foundation. Very sheer, very strong. These are my pieces for the whole quilt. I cut 12 different fabrics, 6 light, 6 dark, 1 inch by the width of the fabric. Then I stacked like all 6 darks into one stack, and I did cut twice at 2 3/4 inches for the last piece. 2.5 will probably do it just fine, and you can get 16 2.5 inch pieces from a full width of fabric. So I have enough to make 16 blocks. And then I did the same thing with the lights. And the first few, I cut the pieces even smaller. You can see I cut 1.5. But now I'm out to where I'm just going to leave them at the 2.5 inches, 2 1/4, somewhere in that range. I only need one piece, the very last piece, the full 2.5 or 2 3/4. So the whole point of this is you don't want to cut your pieces too small. Specifically, there are not cutting instructions for each piece in the pattern because you just don't want to cut them that small. You want to have enough fabric so when you open it, you can hold on to it, open it while you press it, because the pressing is extremely important in these minis. Okay, I am ready to add on the dark side. Oops, no, light side. Okay. And I shouldn't have to repeat any of the fabrics in each block. They won't be in the same order in each block, but they will all be different, if that makes sense. Light 6, and that's what it takes, is 6 light, 6 start when you're going to be doing it like the one on our cover. Then I'll show it to you. I know most people, minis are for them, and I was one of those until I sat down to do one, and this is I chose to do this particular frame perfect. And I did embellish it with some little buttons. And the only quilting I did was in the ditch between the blocks. These finish at 2 inches. I suppose you could do some pretty awesome quilting on it if you wanted. I just wanted to get the sample done, so that's what I did. And this is the pattern. It's $12.95. It is on the website. And like I say, you get 16 blocks in the package. So if you want to make it 4 by 4 blocks by 4 blocks, that would come out to 8 by 8. And I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do with this one in the reproduction, or this is actually all Kansas Troubles fabrics. I was thinking I would do the 8-inch square and then a little border, 1-inch border all the way around, and mount it on a canvas frame. And then put an old, like a wood barn frame on it. Okay, that was this one, number 6. So number 7 right here is next. So we're gonna trim, put our straight edge right on that seam line where we're gonna add number 7. And this is the add an 1/8 ruler. If I added a 1/4 inch, let me grab that. If I added a 1/4 inch, it would make the seam allowance just far enough that it would get caught in not the seam where we're going to add it. If I trim this fabric here down to a 1/4 inch and then added the next piece on, the fabric would go beyond that next seam. So you'd have way too much bulk. The thing with the add an 1/8 is you got to be careful that you don't let your ruler slip, because it is a pretty small seam allowance. See, it's pretty small seam allowance. But just slow down a little. The process is exactly the same as a great big block. So it's just using the add an 1/8. And I push my fabric a little teeny bit past the edge I trimmed, just to make sure I have enough in the seam allowance. And I did shorten my stitches on my machine. I have a stitch length at 2. Just because your seams aren't as long, it's better to get some extra stitches in there. And then we're going to press it, and you want to set your stitches. This is so important. And then press that good and flat, because you only have, I think your strips end up being less than a 1/4, maybe right at a 1/4 inch. And if you don't have them nice and flat, you're going to get little ridges or puckers. So now number 8, is over here. And on this one, usually I put my straight edge so I can barely see the seam line. When you're doing these tiny, tiny seam allowances, I move the straight edge just over the line. Gives me a little teeny bit of leeway. And there's my add an eighth. So there's, you can see my seam allowance there. Okay, and we're doing, this is on the dark side. I've used that. Put that just like that. See that? And then we'll just flip it over. These really aren't hard to do. And when I realized that, when I made my, I think the first mini was a heart one. When I realized it wasn't any harder to do, it's just that it takes about the same amount of time to make a 2-inch block as it does to make a 6-inch block or an 8-inch block. But they're so impressive. Okay. Number 8. You know, like cut for 2 pieces at one trip to the cutting mat, like we do on some of our blocks, because it is just what do I have? I have 3 greens. Let's do this one. Turn that under. And of course you can pin it. I think these little blocks would be great for a cornerstones in a quilt. Very interesting, unexpected. Hi, Sandy. Everybody have a good weekend. I wonder if it's... I thought it was just my glasses. I'm going to have to check the settings on my phone because sometimes I feel like it's not... my photos aren't as clear as they should be, or bright. Well, let's see. I wonder if my, oh yeah, it is. I'm looking on my computer. It is kind of a yucky. I wonder if my internet is not so hot. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know. You guys know I am technically challenged here. Okay, we need a light one. My goodness, we're all the way out to the end already. And these are cut in groups of, I don't think I used that one. See, this is going pretty fast. I'm already out to the edge pieces. Yeah, I'm gonna say there's something wrong with my Wi-Fi. And ups. Number 11, right there. So after showing you guys some of my art quilts last week, I had some inquiries, and I have come up with, this is a little devil I haven't used. I have come up with an idea, and I'm going to get started on it as soon as I get all these other things done for my quilt shows. But we're going to do a series, I believe it's 6 small art quilts of their doorways. I have, over the years, our trip to Italy, everywhere I go, I'm intrigued by doorways, archways and doorways. And of course, when I was in Italy, I was always looking down because the tile floors gave me so many ideas for blocks or quilts. It's funny where you get your ideas from. But anyway, I went through my photos over the years. I came up with 6 different designs. And they won't be real big projects. So I am thinking we're gonna, I know it's a ways off, but we'll probably be just starting late fall, or maybe even not until January. Yeah, let me get a bigger. But I'll share with you as I get mine done. I will share them with you, and because this is one I would really recommend if you think you want to do it, that we do it together. And I think that would be kind of fun. So I'll give you plenty of heads up when the pattern will be available, and we'll go through fabrics, different fabrics that, to use in it. And so you'll have time. You'll have several months to collect your fabrics and stuff like that. So I'll keep talking about it and showing pictures and all that, but I think it's time we do an art quilt. And I'm on to my last piece already. See how fast this goes? Everybody's so afraid of doing the minis, and they're really not difficult. And this is a dark one. Now, I'm going to get myself a little, these pieces that I've done, so I can make sure I get that one. I know it's a green one. Right there. No. I have 3 greens in here, so, oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, and that's what I wanted, the long one. That's it right there. Yay. Okay. Okay. Now we'll give this a good press. And it will kind of show the offside. I'm not even going to stitch around the outside edge because everything is so close. I think it would be very hard to not keep your fabric and foundation together on this one. I mean, you're always welcome to do that. Gonna trim 1/4 of an inch. Quarter inch from the solid line all the way around. I don't know why, I just, a year ago I was at a friend's house for a little quilt thing, and she had several mini quilts hanging in her hallway that were framed a little differently, and just always intrigued me. So I'm hoping that I can kind of get the same kind of feel here. You know, I might just stitch that down. That last one has nothing holding it together. There we go. Yeah, that's going to hold its shape better. Okay, so there we have our first block. I think maybe I need to raise that light up a little bit. So there we are. So they'll all be, so when they're joined, I'm gonna look. Let me look at this. On these I alternated. See, on this one, the outside, 2 outside pieces are the yellows. But this one, it's the greens. So I think to keep that angle going, the next one will be opposite, which is no big deal. All my centers are this fabric I like so well that I used in the little churn dash placemat. So we're going to take our first piece, set it with the wrong side facing up. And I know there's a lot of waste, but like I say, if I used the recommended size, if I measured everything like I do for regular quilts, the pieces would be so tiny you'd have trouble holding on to them. So this is space 1, this square right here, if you can see that. This is number 2, same size square. So we've got number 1 in place, about a quarter of it, not a quarter of an inch, a little over an eighth of an inch. Going past this fabric goes past the line into space 2. Now on this one, number 2 was a light, so we're going to do number 2 dark. And put right sides together. Everett Star, yeah, if you sew on the line, that's one of those you gotta, Everett Star, all those that have the points like that, you've got to just slow down and stay on the lines. And typically what I recommend, I think this thread that I'm using here, which is what I use for, I have a huge cone of it, is a 30 weight. And if you stitch perfectly on the line, you shouldn't see the line. You see, whoops, let me see if I can lighten this up. You can't see the line between space 1 and 2 because I sewed pretty close to perfect. And that's the goal, is to sew so that you can't see your line anymore, that your thread covers your line, then you know you're right on where it should be. Then if you press really well, and when you're doing any kind of points or anything, it's extremely important that you open that up and you press it super flat. But you see, I have enough here that I could hang on to open it up. I guess you'd see it if I had the camera on it. Okay, so that's really important that you get a good, I don't know if this will help, but you get a good flat seam there. Okay, so number 3 is right here, and this is where I'm going to sew it on. And when you're cutting like this with a rotary cutter, don't cut in towards your ruler. Keep it straight or almost pointed away from the ruler. That will help keep your ruler from... Okay, we need another dark piece. And I could cut this down, but I'm going to trim it anyway, so I don't worry about it. Okay, and there's the line for number 3. I'm going to say either, I'm looking at it and it's occasionally pretty grainy, I don't know. I really do apologize. It's beautiful weather here. It's going to be about 85. And thankfully the humidity is a little less than it's been the last couple of days. We're not used to having humidity here. It's usually pretty dry or just perfect. Okay. Number, where are we? Number 1, 2. Did I do the, oh no, I haven't sewn. 1, 2, 3, 4 is right here. My thread got out of the way, I could see that. And it's pretty easy to tell from the front cut. Well, not yet. But we'll do, number 4 goes this way. Like this. And then you'll always be, you can see where the way that the pattern works, it's pretty easy to tell from the front which piece is next. But you can see why I say when I'm doing regular piecing, or foundation piecing, that any scraps that are larger than 1 by 1 I keep for my minis. Sometimes it's kind of fun. I was thinking the other day not the other day, a while back, I made the jelly cake quilt in Tula fabrics. And I wish I would have kept the scraps, because then I could have made a mini, the same pattern. I have the same block in a mini. I thought, wouldn't that have been fun? Except I don't have any granddaughters to do little doll quilts. That would be fun to have them have a quilt just like Grandma's for their little dolls. Okay, number 5. Now see, now this is where it becomes easy to tell which piece is going to be the next piece, because this one has a piece sewn on each side of it, so it needs the 4th side. Where are it's 95 and 70% humidity. Oh gosh, yes, you don't want that AC freezing up. That would not be comfortable. Into the darks. That is. Oh, Illinois, yes. You know, we've spent many trips to Indianapolis, both in May and July and August. And it can just be miserable. I am familiar with your kind of weather. Okay, so that that's going to be the next piece. let's see. Open that up. I got a lot of work done in my garden over the weekend. A couple of raised beds put together, and I had to rototill some dirt and get soil amendments all tilled in. Beautiful soil. Got my workout and got my green beans planted, and I've got, today I am, if it's not too hot, I have my about year round, so I know I'm really late and on getting some of the stuff going, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. See how late into the season we can go. That one's, there's my 3 I have left. 1, 2, oh, I need one more. 1, 2. I used that one. Oh, there's that one we missed last time. Okay, there's my 4 lights I have left. Yay. Been busy cutting fabric kits. Oops. I was very ambitious this morning. I got up and went to town, got all my errands run already. Okay, our last round. Let me pull out, let's see, from the darks here. I just did that one. Did that one. I need that one. And that one. And I think that's all I need. 1, 2, 3, oh no, 4. Oh, that's a dark one. That's considered a dark one. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. It's working out. Now that I kind of know what I'm doing here, that I need to alternate, I will be doing, I'll do the rest of them so that, what do I have? I have 14 left to do. I will do 7 that are all the same, and then I'll do 7 that are the opposite, so I get the pattern going when I put them together. So I guess after I put the first 2 together, I won't be putting any more together. And 11. And this is my last dark one. That'll work. Oh, what kits am I making? I am making kits for 2 color. Well, the background's different. I am cutting for the Twisted Log Cabin. I'm cutting for, I'm doing a Storm at Sea in a different colorway than Laura. So I am cutting for that. I'm cutting for the, I'm looking right at it and can't think of it. I'm cutting for the empty blocks for both sizes. I have to, they're all cut and folded. I just got to put them together so they look pretty. The Modern Sampler. I have a few, all sewn up. Cut and ready for the quilt shows, because I'm having to cut for not just the quilt shows I'm doing, but for the quilt show Laura's doing. And for the placemats that we just finished, I have those, and I have more of the Christmas. Oh my goodness. I can't think of all of them. So I'm busy, Sandy. The deer, $5 or $6 that were coming into our driveway every night. And I thought that they were, the antlers are covered in velvet. I thought that was rather that they were still in velvet, kind of late this. Okay, I want to pull a longer I thought I did a longer set of the light colors also. Maybe not. I don't know if this one's gonna, oh, that'll make it. Be careful with where I put. There we go. The last one for this block. And for a fabric company that's come out. I think the catalogs have been printed, and I think things will be released December, January. So yes, I do need to get that one done. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch this one down. I think I just have to do the one side. Plus trying to get the vegetable garden. The guys built me a greenhouse this year. I got to use it. You know, I can't let them think that they wasted their time. So I got the seeds going, and I got, you know, flowers for year round, you know, the different. Anyway, I'm trying in a herb garden, and I mean, I've always had a couple of herbs here and there going, but I got serious this year. And I never ever had a succulent garden. And I had a cow skull, you know, that we've had here in the yard for a number of years that I would just like decorative. And I decided to get a big galvanized trough and put the skull in there and plant succulents. So I had succulents coming out its nose, snout, whatever you call it, and out of its mouth, I guess. And they have just done so well. I am so pleased, so thrilled. I want to get a couple small ones. The trough is almost full, but I do have some room up eye sockets, so I'm gonna put a couple little ones in the eye sockets. But I'm just so, I can't tell you how happy I am with my little succulent garden. So now let's see if I can do this right. I gotta turn my brain on. If that, no. Yeah. Like that, yeah. And then yes, that will go like that. That's what I want. So let's just sew these two together so I can put this together with my cut pieces and my foundations and know what I'm doing. And the one nice thing about this is there's nothing to match on your seams. I am going to pin it because I'm a walking foot on. And I want my ends to match. There we go. Well, I don't know what's wrong with I say that every day. What's wrong with my fingers? I think that's because they're old. Okay. Do a couple stitches. And then I should take my pin for this row. Yay! And then I'm going to press my seam open. And I hear from people all the time, oh, you shouldn't press your seams open. But with the foundation in there, you have a little extra support on your fabric. So it's not so much pressure. On this one, you could press them that way because there's, which way is this line here is a solid, there's no seam allowances there. So you know what, I'm going to do that because it does make it easier, and it's going to be that way throughout. It's makes it easier when you join the next row to butt your seams up. So beautiful. So there are blocks, and that didn't take too long. I haven't even been on for an hour, and I got a couple of them done. So I don't want to. These aren't real exciting blocks to make, but now you see how easy the minis are, so you don't have to be afraid of them. This one and the pineapple, I would say, are the two hardest, just because there's so many pieces. The heart one, after talking about not saving my scraps from the tulip pink fabric or jelly cake quilt I made, I think I still have a lot of that fabric left. I just may go ahead and make one. That would be kind of fun. Even without a granddaughter to share it with. Anyway, I am going to work on this. I have a couple other things I am very close to finishing up that I will want to share with you, hopefully on. But I just wanted to show how simple these little minis are. Hope I get you a little interested in doing them. And get busy. I gotta do some cutting and stuff. So I will see you guys on Thursday. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do, but I'm hoping it's gonna be something that will inspire you. And I might put a little thing out on the chat room and on Facebook to let you know ahead of time. But I'm glad you joined me today, and I hope that I think Laura is working on her Storm at Sea, so that's a fun one, and I'm dying to see how she puts her colors on it. I'm anxious to see how it looks. If it looks good, we're going to order the fabric so we can kit that one also. So if you possibly can, join her Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, 10 to noon Eastern time. I'm on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, starting at noon. Sometimes I cut off early, like today, and other times I go a little overtime. So you just never know. It depends on the project and how much interest there is in it. So until Thursday, have a great rest of your day. Have a great Wednesday. And I hope to see you Thursday. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.